good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are around the world, and a huge welcome to today's Postgrad Insight session. Today, the session we brought to you by Royal Central School of Speech and Drama, part of the University of London. I'm joined by Sophie today, who in just a moment is going to take you through her presentation and talk to you all about what the benefits of studying with them and in London are. So just before we hand you over, a reminder that today's session is a live session. If you're watching on demand, you won't be able to use the Zoom facilities. If you are watching on Zoom, on Facebook Live or LinkedIn today, please use the Messenger facilities or the Q&A if you're on Zoom. But for now, I'd like to hand you over to Sophie. Sophie, hi. I'd like to hand over to you.
Thanks, Gareth. Hi, everyone. So, yeah, let's begin. So I'm just going to take you through a bit of an introduction to Central today. So that's actually the outside of our building in Swiss Cottage, but I'll talk a bit more about our location a bit later on. So my name is Sophie. I am Student Recruitment and Marketing Officer at Central. So hi to everyone joining us today. Next slide, please, Gareth. And the next slide. So a little bit about our history. So we are a specialist institution with an international reputation. So Central is all about drama and theatre. We are focused on the performing arts and related subjects. We're a conservatoire, which means we offer industry-related vocational training. But as Gareth mentioned, we're also part of the University of London. I'll touch on that a bit more later. Sometimes the word conservatoire can be a bit daunting, but it really just describes the type of training you receive, as it really is different from more traditional university. It's a lot more practical and it's a lot more hands-on. We were founded in 1906 in the Royal Albert Hall by Elsie Fogarty. So that's over 100 years of training performers, production artists, producers and more. We are a small institution with approximately 1,100 students, so it's a small and close-knit community. We offer, as part of our portfolio, we offer 3 undergraduate degrees and we offer 12 MAs and 7 MFAs. And we have around 38 PhD students creating new knowledge and research. Next slide, please, Gareth. So what do we believe at Central, sort of what guides us and what underpins how we behave and think as an institution? So we're all about changing the future of theatre and performance. And as a school and a community, we have a mission which sort of guides everything we do. And this is underpinned by 4 core values, which is respect, innovate, share, and inquire, which nicely spells RISE. So our mission is to inspire, educate, and train the performers, practitioners, and change makers of tomorrow to shape the future of theatre and performing arts. So Central really is a school that welcomes passion and talented people from all over the world who want to develop and be the future of the industry, whether that's in theatre, film, television, events, and more. So to do this, we know we need talent from across the world who have a common desire to develop their talent and to follow their passion. And we know that excellence requires diversity, as this brings richness, knowledge, innovation, new understandings, and skills. So students at Central are really encouraged, and they absolutely do, challenge the status quo. And we always say, if you look at theatre, performance or culture more widely, and don't see yourself reflected, come and join us and help us to change that. Next slide, please, Gareth. Just a little bit about our academic aspect as well. So we have world-leading academics dedicated to high-quality teaching and research. So we are recognised by the Research Excellence Framework, which is a UK-wide assessment of the qualities of universities' research in all disciplines. So this is something done every few years, and we have the 3rd highest score and the 4th ranked institution in the country in 2021. You can visit the research section of our website to see some of the exciting kinds of projects that are happening at Central in our research department. And many of our tutors are practicing in industry alongside teaching. We were recently awarded 1.35 million from UK Research and Innovation to support the launch of Performance Lab, which is a catalyst for research and development in theatre and performance in immersive performance and digital technologies, which is a bit of a mouthful. We're also number 2 in the UK for arts, drama or music in the Complete University Guide 2024. So you only really have to look at our graduates to see some of the many benefits of studying with us, but you can, just by looking at what our students go on to do, which are very amazing things, that should give you an idea of where our postgraduate courses can lead. So I'm going to talk about a few, but do encourage you to visit individual course pages to see the kinds of work graduates go on to do. But to begin with, Naya Da Costa, who did the MA Writing for Stage and Broadcast Media, is directing the highly anticipated blockbuster The Marvels, which is due for release later this year. And her other film and television credits as a director include the recent Candyman sequel and BBC's Top Boy. And she'll also direct The Water Dancer soon. We also have Riz Ahmed, who you may have heard of. He is an MA acting graduate. He's an Oscar award-winning actor, director, writer and musician. He was honoured earlier this year with the Excellence Award David Campari at the 2023 Locarno Film Festival. And he will next star in a sci-fi drama called Fingernails opposite Jessie Buckley. From our MA Advanced Theatre Practice course, we have Rob Drummer. So he is Artistic Director and CEO of Boundless Theatre, and they produce work across the UK and internationally to connect teenagers to theatre and promote meaningful social engagement around culture. We have scenography graduate Raja Shakiri, who has extensive experience as a set and costume designer, and most recent designs have included The Father and the Assassin, Trouble in Mind, Master Harold and the Boys, and Nine Night at the National Theatre London. She's also exhibited her work at the V&A Museum and at the World Stage Design. Just a couple more. Joel Trill, who is a voice studies graduate and is now a dialect coach for stage, film and television. Recent credits include White Lotus, Gangs of London and The Crown. And Philippa Dawson, who is an acting for screen graduate, who won the Brighton Fringe Award for Excellence for her one-woman Edinburgh Fringe play, Character Flaw. So that's just a bit of an overview, but as I said, I do encourage you to have a look at each of the course pages that you're interested in to see more examples of the kinds of roles graduates go on to. So in addition to that, in terms of our industry links, we have around 400 visiting lecturers, people giving masterclasses, professional directors, designers and so on across Central each year. And there's a lot of opportunity for students to network and connect with the industry, and there are placement opportunities in many MAs and longer attachments in the MFA year, which is I'll talk about in a bit. The graduate visa allows the opportunity for international students to remain in the UK for 2 years to work after completing their studies, which is a big plus for international students. Next slide, thank you. So we are very lucky to be in London. We are in Swiss Cottage, which is northwest, and it's about 15 minutes on the tube to West London from where we are. So London is known by many, or considered by many, to be the theatre capital of the world. And while you're here, we will encourage you to immerse yourself in that culture. You'll get weekly ticket offers, exclusive student offers and things like that, so that you can really make the most of being in London and all the live performance that's available. We're also, it's pretty good locally, just in terms of Swiss Cottage itself. So we've got lots on Central's doorstep. We've got the Hampstead Theatre, which is just over the road. We're a short walk from Primrose Hill, which offers beautiful views of London and is very peaceful and leafy and quiet. And then we've got Camden just down the road as well, which is known for its nightlife, its food, its market. But then, of course, we're also close to London's array of museums, galleries, theatres, clubs, etc. So it is safe to say you will never be bored in London. Next, please, Gareth. So one of the things about being a small specialist institution, and this is another way that we differ from a more traditional university, is that our facilities and our building are really designed for the training and the education of performing arts and related subjects. So we have high calibre facilities, including 5 public performance spaces and theatres. We have 7 music practice rooms, we have 3 movement spaces, we have sound studios, we have several different types of workshop. We also had a new addition to the building in 2019, which was the North Block, and that brought the new Courtyard Theatre, a soundstage, and more rehearsal and performance spaces to Central. There are also 38,000 items in the library and archives, and students also have access to the University of London Library at Senate House. So that's one of the benefits of being part of the University of London, as we get access to some of their facilities. We also have the different technical and production departments as well, like wardrobe, media and technical. So you can take a look at us at Central using our virtual tour. We also run campus tours throughout the year, which you can book through our website, and I'll talk a bit more about those and other events you can book onto at the end of the presentation. But now, if you go to the next slide, I think we'll tell you a bit more about the different courses we offer. So we offer the broadest portfolio of drama, theatre and performance related programmes, and I'm now going to give you an overview of these. So I've loosely divided these into different areas. So we'll begin by looking at coaching and specialist direction. So our MA/MFA actor training and coaching course. So this isn't a course for training you to be an actor, but it develops a practical understanding of what it is to act. So it enables you to work as a acting trainer or coach, a theatre practitioner, and lots of people go on to be directors as well. So what you'll do is create approaches through research and practice in different training methodologies, and you'll learn pedagogical tools for coaching and teaching actors. Lots of two big words there. Benefit also from wide-reaching placement opportunities, as with many of our MA programmes. We also have the movement, directing and teaching MA/MFA. So this is again a specialist vocational course, but it's looking more at movement. So it's for performance and movement practitioners who want to develop an expertise in movement teaching and the movement directing of actors. So it's taught by current professionals in their field, and allows you to go into the field for movement directing, essentially. Lastly, in this sort of section, we have our voice studies, teaching and coaching. So this is a world-leading course, and it allows you to learn the pedagogical skills for the teaching of voice. You study with internationally renowned voice tutors and professionals. You'll network with actors, accent coaches, speech therapists, singers, and undertake various placements. So that's that sort of portfolio of courses. We go on to the next slide. So these are our more performance-related subjects. Well, they're all performance courses that are really based in conservatoire training. So we have MA Acting Classical. So it's a very creative, physical, and sort of intellectually demanding acting program. So it's conservatoire level training. It's designed primarily for students with previous training or performance experience, who want to focus on plays from the European classical repertoire. So the acting contemporary course is similar, but the focus is much more on new writing and creating new work. So the two courses have a very similar structure. They both hone the individual technical craft of the actor, and involve involve performances, public performances, but it's just the type of text and work that you look at is different. And both MA Acting Classical and MA Acting Contemporary include screen acting classes. We often get asked that question, will we get some, screen acting experience on those courses? Yes, you do. But if you just want to look at acting for screen specifically, that is what the MA Acting for Screen is for. So it focuses on acting in film, television and screen-related media. And it explores the potential of performance and the relationship between performers and the camera. And as part of that, you produce and perform in short film. So all of those you audition as part of your entry to the course. But I'll talk a bit more about entry requirements in a little bit. So we go on to the next slide. So these are our performance production courses. So these are about the making of theatre. So our advanced theatre practice programme is about the study and practice of theatre directing, performing or scenography. So you can kind of choose which you specialise in. You engage in an experimental laboratory, which is fueled by theory and research. It's a very experimental course. It really encourages you to, try different things, to think outside the box. You create new work for a range of different settings and public spaces too. So that's really, the course is about playing a leading role in tomorrow's performance and theatre making worlds. Then we have our sonography course, which is more specifically about design, performance design. So you work with practice and theory, and you'll work in a variety of disciplines, including film, sculpture, sound, digital media, puppetry, choreography, and architecture. So you look at a lot of different influences on that course. You'll do independent and collaborative work, and you'll have mentors, tutors, and work with industry partners. And then our last set of courses, maybe next slide please, Gareth. So these are the theatre and social practice courses. So we've got MA Applied Theatre. So this is about gaining knowledge of theatre in applied settings, so community and drama education settings in the UK and around the globe. So you combine theory and practice in exploring how theatre can change lives. It's really about the social and sort of political use of theatre. You will do placements globally as part of this. There are lots of different types of placements that students do in different community settings, but you would pick a pathway in either drama in the community and drama education, or drama and the criminal justice system. Then we have MA Drama and Movement Therapy. So this offers a particular approach to learning the craft of drama therapy, and it's a really unique combination of drama and movement with placements as well. So again, all of these courses very hands-on, lots of industry networking involved. Then we have the MA/MFA Creative Producing. So this allows you to gain real-world creative producing experience, skills and knowledge. Again, placements with leading theatre and arts organisations. You'll have masterclasses and benefit from industry mentors. You'll do student collaborations with writers, actors and designers from other postgraduate courses at Central. And then lastly, we have Writing for Stage. So this is, again, a vocational training in writing drama across a range of different media contexts. So that includes theatre, film, television and radio. You'll also study the history of dramatic writing and explore its future. You will work with actors and, again, be taught by industry professionals, people in the field working now. So that's a kind of whistle-stop tour of all of the postgraduate courses we offer. Just a little bit about the MFA year. As you'll have seen, that is available in many of the subjects. This is becoming increasingly popular in Europe, and in the US it's sort of seen as the final degree. What it really is, it offers you a chance to widen your practicing knowledge, often within a professional context, so deepening that practice, getting more industry experience, and gaining further specialist skills in the subject. You can read about the MFA year on each of the course pages on the website, but they broadly follow that trajectory of deepening your knowledge in the subject. So how to apply? In the next slide, please. Thank you. So applications can be made directly through our website, and they will open in October. So you can just go onto the course page and click apply now and begin your application that way. Entry requirements do vary from course to course. So if you visit the course page, there's detailed information about what you need to apply and the different entry requirements, including qualifications and relevant experience. But as I said, this does vary from course to course and depending on the subject. You will then be invited for an auditional interview, and you might be asked to prepare certain things for this. For example, for the MA Acting Classical, you would be asked to prepare 2 contrasting speeches, one from an Elizabethan or Jacobean play, and the other a more modern piece from the 20th or 21st century. So they have different requirements and things that you need to do in preparation. We do have English language requirements if English is not your first language. So the minimum requirements are that students are proficient users of the English language at the level C1. in the Common European Framework of Reference. So you'll need to just take a secure English language test, and the score needs to be 7.0. You can again find out more about that on the website. We do also have plenty of resources to help you with your application, such as top tips for writing your personal statement, and again, lots of information about audition processes, interview processes, and what you need to do when making your application. And if we go on to the next slide, scholarships and bursaries. So if you are a UK student, you can borrow a loan from Student Finance England to help support your studies, and so that at the moment is £12,167 is the maximum you can borrow. It goes up a little bit each year. We also have our own range of scholarships and bursaries, which again, you can see a full list of these on the website. But just to name a couple, we have the Embassy Scholarship, which awards between £2,000 and £5,000. And we also have the Leverhulme Scholarships, which are £10,000 each. There are 6 of those each year. These are designed to give additional funding and support for students in full-time courses to benefit from the training and education, regardless of personal or financial circumstances. But yeah, do take a look at what we've currently got available. We also pay for a license for the Alternative Guide to Postgraduate Funding, which is a huge database of alternative funding sources, which you can access once you have been offered a place at Central. And when you're offered a place, you will be invited to apply for any scholarship you're eligible for. So any of the ones mentioned above, you'll be invited to apply for those if you're eligible. So that makes it a bit easier. Yeah, so in terms of accommodation, there are quite a few different options. So we're not a campus university in the sense of we don't have halls on our campus, and it really depends on the student what works best for them. So we do have an allocation of rooms at the University of London, so that is one option. Then we also have private halls providers, which some students like to go into, and there's lots of availability for those across London. Most of our postgraduate and actually undergraduate students tend to choose to live in privately rented accommodation, so sort of shared houses and things like that, in and around Central, so in and around the Swiss Cottage, Finchley Road area. And some people who live in London or near London choose to live at home and commute. We do have I've just included the website link there. You want to read a bit more about different accommodation options. But we do have our student advice service, who are really helpful in guiding students through the process of finding accommodation that's suitable for their budget and their preferences. And lastly, just some upcoming events. So we have the next in-person event is the MA MFA Movement Directing and Teaching Taster, which is on Thursday, 14th of September, 6:30 to 8:30 p.m. Then we have the Postgraduate Open Evening on Thursday, 9th of November, 6 to 9 p.m. We also run campus tours throughout the academic year, and we will soon be sharing the details of some online taster and information sessions throughout the autumn term. So the dates of these are to be confirmed, but if you can use the QR code there, that will take you through to our events page and all the different events we have available, including shows actually, because that's another good way of seeing the kind of work we make at Central. So if you wanted to book onto a show, we've got postgraduate shows currently, you can see those there too. And I think that is the last slide.
It is, Sophie. Thank you very much. I just want to, while you're talking about the open events, just go into them a bit more detail, because I think the general consensus with a lot of students is, oh, an open day, how very boring and all this. But I believe from speaking to yourselves and some of your colleagues before as well, your open events are quite different. You know, they're not mundane, and you're not just walking around looking all the time. How do you make it different to other unis, especially in the arts field? And what can a student expect coming to one of those open events?
Yeah, so it does depend on the event. So for the MA slash MFA Movement Directing and Teaching Taster. You're really it's going to be in a studio space. It's going to be quite intimate. There's not going to be more than maximum 40 people. And you will be with the course tutor, the course leader, going through different exercises and approaches, gives you a chance to chat, to find out more about the course, but also to actually get a taste of what the course is like. So that's what a taster session offers. For the open evening, we like to welcome everyone into the building, bring them into the theatre, and give them a bit of an introduction to Central. And then they have a chance to go and speak to different course tutors about the courses. We do also have catering. What we really like to do is have a bit of a social element to the evening. So we have sort of, wine and nibbles so students can have a bit of a chat, and also just chat with current students and course leaders in a slightly more informal way. So they'll find out about the courses, they'll get a tour of the building and see the facilities and get a bit of a sense of the Central buzz, but they will also, get a chance to relax and just sort of chill, essentially. So it's different in that way.
And can we talk about the class sizes as well? Because obviously, from the presentation you've just been through, it would suggest to me that a lot of the class sizes are quite small, that more intimate one-on-one coaching and education. Is that right?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you definitely are getting a slightly smaller class size than you would at a more traditional university. It does vary year on year and course to course, but you're not going to get more than sort of 20-ish in most cohorts, and some are much smaller than that,
Yeah.
depending on the sort of uniqueness of the course as well.
And what's the kind of split? Because presumably you get quite a lot of international students, obviously a well-renowned establishment. Do you have well, a large amount of different cultures, let's say, at the university, and therefore everyone will fit in no matter where you're from?
Absolutely. There's I think about 25% of Central's students are from international backgrounds or, have come over. And there is, one of the things I didn't mention in the presentation, but it is a really key part of Central life, is that we have a really active student union. They represent different groups in the student community. They're very sort of, our whole student body are very passionate and quite political and socially engaged. There's always events going on, and there's always lots to get involved with. But it also just creates this very welcoming atmosphere for everyone. And yeah, you only have to look at some of our graduates, even the ones that I mentioned who have gone on to those incredible roles. They're from all over the world. So yeah, we do have a real big range, and we need that as well. It's really important to have that in order to be, as I said, it sort of contributes to the excellence of the place.
Yeah, and that was going to be my next question. I'm pleased you pointed that out, because you mentioned in the presentation about where fellow students have gone, and where they are now, and it's a very impressive thing to look at. But do you have any partnerships with bodies and businesses outside of the university and establishment that you can, maybe lean on a little bit to help a student and with their career moving forward?
Yeah, so there are multiple different theatres and arts organisations that students can take placements with when they're training. And often it is the case that when students make these connections, they then go on to work with those companies, institutions, etc. So yeah, I think it's definitely a lot of the networking that happens during the training is what cements their future going out, graduating from the course. There is a section on our website which is specifically a list of the different industry partners we work with, which you can also look at, which has a very extensive list.
Okay, excellent. And I want to touch upon two more things as well. One of them was mentioned in the presentation, and one of them wasn't, I don't think. Accommodation was. Obviously, you don't have any typically on campus halls, if you like, just because of the nature of where the establishment is. It's important to point out that you help students get on that track and on the right path, because it's a daunting prospect for a lot of international students to come over to London, of all places, and know where to live but presumably you've got someone that will help them hold their hand for the whole process.
Yeah, so our student advice service is really brilliant for that. They're really lovely, friendly team, and they're available to help students with not just accommodation, any sort of advice and guidance they need. Accommodation is particularly something they help with because a lot of people want and need help with it. But they also offer guidance for things like any financial issues students might be facing, or if they need to access further support, they can signpost them or help them to get access to that. We also have a neuro inclusion and disability service, which helps students with any sort of challenges they might be facing in that area. And we offer free counselling as well. So our whole sort of student services area is quite, they're just very helpful, very friendly, and really are there for students through that sort of, can be quite a scary process, especially if you're moving to London from somewhere else.
And do all the students live in London, or is there the option to perhaps live on the outskirts of London and travel in? Because we all know the infrastructure is fantastic in London, and
Yeah,
although that old age saying of, you're always late because the tube breaks down or whatever
yeah.
buses, but it is true. A lot of people that study in London do live outside of London on the outskirts. It's very accessible.
Yeah, there are people that do that, particularly if they already sort of have family homes there, but it is becoming more common for people to rent further out and travel in. Yeah, absolutely. The tube is literally on Central's doorstep. So you step out of the tube and you can see Central, so it is very well connected in that way.
Excellent. And the final point that I don't think was mentioned actually is from Central's perspective, in terms of international and UK students and the funding. Do you work with third party providers, such as, I'm going to name one now, I'm not sure if you work with them, but Chevening scholarships? Do you work with other bodies and partners like that, that students can go, right, I need all the help I can get, let's apply there?
Yeah, so the scholarships and bursaries listed on our website are not just from Central, they're from others, they're from people we work with as well. But then we also have the alternative guide to postgraduate funding so that students can research even more opportunities. But the ones listed on our website are not just Central bursaries. For example, the Leavey Hume Scholarship. There's there's lots of different providers of awards, bursaries, and scholarships.
And one final question as well. I thought I would be the final one, but the audiences and the different students that are obviously applying and educating themselves, it has changed over the last 5 years because of COVID and everything else. I think
Mhm.
what we would call the more mature audience, which is 26 plus, are becoming more and more frequent in postgraduate study now, and I think that's a great thing. Are you seeing that your side? Are you seeing a more mature audience potentially choosing to do their MFA or doing their masters at an older age or a more established stage of their life?
Yeah, I mean, to be honest, it's always been a bit of a mix, and it continues to be. We have people who have just finished their undergraduate degree, and then we have people who have been maybe working in the industry for a while, and they now want to diversify their career. They want to maybe continue performing, but they want to add another string to their bow, and learn to be an actor coach, for example. So yeah, it is a real mix. And again, that's something we really welcome. Is we like to see a mix of people at Central, not just one age group.
Super, excellent. Sophie, thanks for your time. Been really engaging. Thank you. For anyone watching on demand or live, the QR code is on the screen now. It is working. It will take you straight through to the open event that they've got coming up in the MA and the MFA Movement Direct and Teacher Taster session. But if you've got any questions, we will be in touch. We've got all your details. So we will reach out to you. And if you've got any direct questions and you can't get through to us, it's Gareth at postgradsolutions.com. But for now, Sophie, thank you. Everyone behind the scenes, thank you as well. We look forward to seeing you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.